All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back from break. Today we're going to be talking about author choices and how it shapes the meaning and the effect of the text. I've prepared a little PowerPoint. It shouldn't be too awful long getting you through it and getting you on your way, okay? So, how authorial choices shape meaning and effect, understanding the craft of storytelling. So, authorial choices, what that means is the deliberate decisions made by authors in their writing, including word choice, the structure, their perspective or a perspective, the tone, and many more things. So, why does it matter? Why is it important? So, these choices affect how readers perceive and interpret the text. Okay. Sorry, let me turn my phone off. So, key authorial choices. So, the point of view is a good one. First person offers intimacy and personal perspective. Third person would provide broader context or objectivity. As you know, first person is the I, me. Okay, that's first person. Third person would be um, uh, like, oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Why? Third person would be to tell the story from, like, I could say Angie had a good day today, which would be me. That's third person, right? Tone and mood. So the tone is the author's attitude. An example of that would be serious, ironic, playful. The mood, the feeling created for the reader. An example of that is suspenseful, nostalgic, and also the structure, linear versus non-linear storytelling, the use of flashbacks or foreshadowing. Linear, of course, would be in a sequence of order versus non-linear, which would be all over the place. You could kind of skip around, kind of like the use of flashbacks or foreshadowing. Okay. So language and style is an important way for an author to um, storytell. Dictation, the word choice, how formal or informal language creates specific effects. Syntax, the sentence structure. It could be long, complex sentences versus short, punchy sentences. Figurative language, similes, metaphors, symbolism, etc. Okay. So an example, she danced like the wind. That's a metaphor. Or versus she danced swiftly and elegantly. So that's a direct description. An example of formal and informal. Formal. Formal. Hello, young man. It is a true pleasure to make your acquaintance. How are you feeling today? Versus informal of, hey kid, nice to meet you. What's up? So you can see how the difference is, right? The formal versus the informal there. So examples in literature. So with F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, symbolism, an example of that could be the green light representing hope and uh, unattainable dreams. Um, Narrative perspective, Nick Carraway's limited and biased viewpoint. Or you could look at George Orwell's 1984, the dystopian tone and bleak setting to evoke despair, the manipulative language, uh, the newspeak to shape meaning and control thought. So if you haven't read either one of those stories, I think this is still a good way to kind of give you an example in literature because this is something you could easily Google and see. Literally just Google and see little excerpts of it. and it'll show you examples. Okay. So, how choices shape meaning, enhance themes, reinforce central ideas through symbolic elements and tone, guide reader response, influence how readers feel about characters and events, and then create emotional impact. So use pacing, imagery, and tone to evoke specific reactions. So the effect on readers. Readers experience text differently based on their choices. So your perceptions are going to be different than my perceptions as we're reading a book because you've had different life knowledge, life experiences. And so your perceptions might be different, which is great about like discussions and talking and learning about other people's perceptions. Seeing other people's perceptions really opens your mind. Um, to how different things can be, how different people can feel, and having that perspective allows your mind to grow without being so judgmental. Okay, that's a good way for me to put it, I think. So effects on readers, empathy or distance from characters, engagement with the plot, and emotional resonance or intellectual stimulation. So something that is written in the pages could stimulate you, but not me because I don't have any life experience with it. And I could be just like, okay, that makes sense, but I really don't feel it. Or you might, because you might have that intellectual um, um, stimulation because of your um, life experience. Say something like losing a loved one. Say, I've never lost anyone that was really close to me. So somebody else talking about it doesn't affect me in the same way that it might affect you. If you've lost someone that is very dear to you, you know that hurt. You feel that loss. You feel your heartbreak and that soul crushing loss, right? And so if somebody else hasn't experienced that, but you have, you would feel it a lot more than I would. Just like engagement with the plot. If it's related to something that you like or that you love or that you're interested in or that you've had life experience with, you're going to be more engaged with the plot than I would. Empathy or distance from characters, same thing, right? If you uh, feel that empathy toward a character because you've lived that, you've felt that, the same thing, you share that empathy with that character. Whereas if I have not lived that and I don't know what they're talking about, I might not feel that empathy like you do. And so, an example, how a suspenseful tone keeps readers on an edge versus a reflective tone prompting deep thought. So, a suspenseful tone can keep people, the readers on edge and want to know what's going to happen next. But if it's a reflective tone prompting deep thought, then you're not on the edge of your seat. You're really thinking about the text, right? So, this is a passage from George Orwell's 1984. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. Winston Smith, his chin nuzzled into his breast in an effort to escape the vile wind, slipped quickly through the glass doors of Victory Mansions, though not quickly enough to prevent a swirl of gritty dust from entering along with him. So these would be some questions for analysis, okay? So the tone, what atmosphere does the author create with words like bright, cold day and vile wind, right? So think about that. What atmosphere does the author create? Seems kind of vile, right? Because it says vile wind. So it would be bright. So that would be nice. But the cold day would be kind of yucky, making not want to go outside. And then and then the vile wind, with it being cold out, the vile wind would make you not want to go outside even more. So that tone puts you in a kind of thought that he didn't want to be outside and it was miserable outside, right? So that's the tone. So structure. How does the opening sentences mention of 13 impact the reader's perception of the setting? To me, that structure means that it's not normal. It's not like ours because what clocks strike 13? We don't have 13 on our clocks, right? We only have 12. So that makes you think, okay, so this is a different kind of structure, different kind of setting. Makes you think this is going to be a different kind of book. This isn't going to be, a normal everyday book that you read that's got the same time as we do. Style. How does Orwell's use of descriptive language and detail engage the reader? Well, again, you can think about that bright, cold day and the vile wind. And I think it engages you by thinking about those things. You can see yourself even, or picture Winston Smith, his chin nuzzled into his breast in an effort to escape the vile wind. You're going to be having your coat up as high as you can and your head down as far as you can to try and keep warm, right? And then opening a door and not quickly enough to prevent a swirl of gritty dust from entering along with him. So as you open a door, you're going to picture him getting covered in dust coming in from behind him and not being able to close that door quick enough that it comes in and floats all over the floor with the last gust of cold, vile wind, right? That's what I think of. So, meaning, what do these choices reveal about the world Winston lives in? Same thing, vile, cold, um, clocks striking 13. Very confusing, right? Not the same world we live in. Okay. So that's kind of what you're going to think about. And thinking about the tone and the structure and the style and the meaning is all things that the author can control and shift and move around to make a text more interesting and how they affect how we as the reader feel about those things, right? Okay, so importance of understanding authorial choices. They shape the reader's experience, right? And they add depth and complexity to literature. They make it interesting. They bring you into the book. I know I love to read. I'm on my third book already for 2025. So I know that the books that I've read, they take you out of your everyday world and put you in a world that um, gets you away from the troubles of our world once in a while. Um, and just going into different perspectives. I love seeing an author's perspective written throughout his book or their book. I love being able to learn from it, which you do. Any book you read, you're going to learn something. Even if you hate the book, you're going to bring something away from it because you see a different perspective and it helps you grow as a person. Okay, guys, that's all I have for today. Short and sweet. It wasn't too long for you, I hope. And yeah, if you have any questions or you need any help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I enjoy helping you all and seeing you succeed. So have a good day. Thank you.